Now, guys, this is our class, which is a mix between our MetaPWR products and our lifelong vitality products, as well as some statistics that we're going to throw out there. So this class is really relaxed. It's casual. Jump in if you have any questions. Unmic. You can put them in the chat as well if you like. But let's just make it really fluid and a lot of fun. Put up your hand if you've got any questions. But the main topic tonight is around living younger, longer, and really health and vitality at really any age. And I'm just going to stretch this to the full screen. There we are. So our goals for today is really about talking about controlling your metabolism and really what does metabolic health mean and what does metabolism control in your body as well. I know that this is a bit of a buzzword, metabolism and metabolic health. So what I want to do today is break it down so you can actually see how much your metabolic health impacts different systems inside your body. And I think you'll actually be quite surprised at the number of areas of your body that your metabolism and your metabolic health actually impact. We're going to talk about why we need a metabolic health awakening. And we're not going to sugarcoat anything today. There's literally no sugar allowed in this call, no sugarcoating, because it's actually the reason why we've got to where we are today. We've got our blinkers on too much. So this is going to be a bit of an eye-opener with a lot of the statistics that I throw out today. We're going to talk about the relationship between your health span, which is the number of years that you're healthy, as opposed to your biological aging, and as well as your chronological age. The chronological age is basically your numbers on the clock. You can't change that. You can't change the year that you were born, but we can, through a lot of healthy lifestyle choices, and that's what we'll talk about tonight, you can actually reverse your biological age, which is really exciting. And there's a book that I'll be referring to a little bit later by Dr. David Sinclair, and I'll introduce him a little bit later on. And one of the other goals we'll talk about tonight too is how we can actually slow down that biological aging and put more years into our life. And I don't think there's anybody on this call or anybody watching the recording who wouldn't want a little bit of that, right? Anyone? Elaine? Yeah, we're into that. I know I am. 52 years of age, I'm happy to slow the clock down a little bit. And it doesn't matter where you are at a certain age, it's never too late to begin. That's the exciting thing. You can be in your 80s and start some healthy habits and you'll get significant improvements. So what I'm going to do first up is in the chat, I'm going to drop in a couple of things for you to download. So just make sure you know where the chat is. And I'm going to grab them now. And the first up is this lifestyle quiz. It's a metabolic health and lifestyle quiz. And this is a document created that's really meant to change your life. And I really want you to refer back to this document again and again and again. And it's broken into, there's about 3 pages from memory. And then there's a quiz on page 4. So 3 pages of questions. Page 4, there's a quiz. And you're invited really to take the next steps in that quiz. And we'll cover what those next steps are a little bit later in this course. So give me a second while I work out how to throw them in, because things have changed a little bit in Zoom. Grabbing the chat. Here we are. So the first one I want to put in here is the quiz. And you'll see this come through. So once it downloads for you, grab it and take it to your desktop. If you don't know how to do that, just click on it. And there should be 3 little dots to it. And the 3 little dots, you can say save as, and you can save it to your desktop. The reason why I want you to download it now is because when we close the call, this will all disappear. So that's the first one I want to send to you. The second one is the class handout. And here we are. There's the second one. Are they coming through okay? Yep, great. And then the third one I want to send you, and the last one, is some protocols, which we'll talk about at the end of the class. I don't want to give you all of this information and not be able to give you some solutions. So this is really the solutions. Okay, guys, so now you should have 3. And all I want you to do is just download it to your desktop, and you can leave them there. You can actually open them up and refer to them as we go through as well. That would be really handy. Catherine, I know you're in the middle of dinner, and I know, Victoria, you're probably in the middle of preparing things as well, but you've got them now, and you can actually refer back to them later on. And like I mentioned, these are some really great guides to just refer back to again and again and again. So this is what, on the slide deck here, this is the one that you can see. I'm just going to stretch this to full screen again. This is the Metabolic Health and Lifestyle Quiz, and we'll be referring to this in a moment. And these are the three things that we're going to cover tonight. So the first one is to learn why metabolic health is vital to the quality of your life and living longer and healthier. Number two is to create a personal wellness protocol. And we do that through being really open and honest with this quiz, this questionnaire. Now, I want you to, in some quiet time when there's nobody disturbing you, to actually print out this guide, or you can do it electronically, and just to sit with it and answer it. Now, I want you to answer it where you are today. I don't want you to answer the quiz where you want to be with your health goals. I want you to answer it honestly where you are today without any judgment. Yeah. And you can only do that when you're by yourself. So the reason for that is we all have goals and aspirations with our health where we want to get to. Often we don't think about where we are realistically. And when we measure where we are now with this metabolic health and lifestyle quiz, it shows us the gap in between, the gap of where we are now and the gap to where we want to get to. That gap is what we want to work on with this quiz. And I'll show you on page 4 what that looks like. So at the bottom of the quiz, we have this diagram here, which talks about your daily habits. We talk about some targeted support, and then that will equal your personal protocol. And we'll go in this in a lot more detail shortly. So now this one here is the handout that I've sent you. And if you've got that handy, you can open it up or you can look at it on the screen. I'm going to break this down now into section by section. And you'll see at the very top there, there's the map of the states. So have that little handout there, living younger longer. And the very first line is pretty powerful. Will your health span be as long as your lifespan? And basically, the modern medicine these days is miraculous in keeping us alive longer, but not necessarily keeping us alive healthier. So the last 13 to 15 years of most people's lives are spent unhealthy, incapacitated, relying on family members or an institution to take care of them. So if we look at the left-hand side here, 13 out of 14 of the US adult population has less than optimal metabolic cardiometabolic health. Now, what this means is good metabolic health is all about your digestion, how you absorb the nutrients from your food, how you stabilize your blood sugar and your blood fat and the insulin in your body. Now, if there's one thing you take away from this call today, one of the most important things you can do to extend your quality of life and even to put more years in your life, the one thing that's the most important is to lower your insulin spikes. That is one of the best things that you can control. And again, we'll go into some solutions soon. So metabolic health also talks about the state of your gut health and how diverse your microbiome is. We talk about nutrition, of course, and I'm going to hammer that home in a moment. We talk about your quality of sleep, how you control all of the different stresses that are going on in your life, your mental health. And we know after the pandemic, that kind of fell through the floor, yeah? It's not good to lock people up for 2 years and we find out later on the consequences. And so these are some of the things that come into metabolic health. Now, in the center section here, I'm going to break this down now in more detail. So let's just go to the next page. So you'll see here, this was a research done in 2018 on 55,000 US adults. And what they found was it was less than 7%. So 13 out of 14 US adults have less than optimal cardiometabolic health. And that is measured by these indicators on the right-hand side. So cardiovascular health, their blood pressure, their blood lipids, also the insulin levels inside their body. So if you can imagine, if this report was done in 2018, it was pre-pandemic. So I would dare to say that this result now would be even worse, which is pretty scary. And how is this possible? Like how did we get to this state now where so many adults have such poor metabolic health? And really, it's the way that we're choosing to live our lives. It's our way of being. It's our diet. It's the lifestyle that we have. All of these factors add up to our quality of life and our health, which is at the top here. It's the environment that we live in as well. Are we living in a toxic environment, in a toxic city? I do. Unfortunately, in Vietnam, in Hanoi, it's very, very toxic. So I make sure that the products that I'm using, like DDR Prime, help to make my cells more resistant. Because what our cells need inside our body is they need three things. They need protection, your cells need energy, and your cells need resistance. And so feeding your cells healthy nutrition, which we'll talk about in a moment, but also to building up the resistance of your cells. So if we look at each of these levels, all of these things on the bottom, this foundation, impact our metabolic health. They impact our biological age. They impact our potential for disease. And ultimately, all of these things impact our quality of health and lifestyle. Now, let's unpack each of these levels here. If we look at diet, for example, how does diet impact our metabolic health? Now, I know a lot of you have a lot to say about this, and if you want to, you can unmic at any time and put forward your thoughts as well, and how you're treating in your life nutrition and how you focus on nutrition in your family. These are some statistics here that I want to talk about. So in 1960, the food pyramid that we all know so well was thrown out to us. In 1980, things started to really change. And from 1980, you can see on the graph here, there's this upward spike. And this spike here is really talking about, it's measuring obesity in the US adults. Now, if we continue on this trajectory, by 2030, half of the population of US adults will be obese, 50%. Which is really scary. Now, if you sort of think back, if you're, in my age group or a little bit older, 1980 doesn't seem so far ago. It's kind of where fast food really started to happen, and packaged food and a lot of industrial food, yeah? If anybody wants to jump in and give some opinions here, go for it. But this is really where things started to change. Victoria, I know you're dying to say something here.
I'm typing as fast as I can because I didn't mean to interrupt. But
I can feel your brain.
Yes, this is when it all shifted. And over the past several decades, people have bought the lie that this processed boxed food is actually food. And I think we can all agree that there is no Pop-Tart tree, there is no Oreo bush. These are food-like substances that are killing us slowly. And I don't know if you're going to go on to this, Pete, but Tufts University just came out with a new food pyramid that literally was saying that Lucky Charms is healthier than an egg. And like they're trying to sell us these products for profit, but they are also trying to keep us sick for profit. They don't want to kill us. There's no profit in death. They just want to keep us sick, right? So then and like 3 days after that Tufts University thing came out. Yep, thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know your class.
This is good. This is good.
Like 3 days after they came out with this insanity, they came out with a new medication for children for obesity. So I would also like to just let you guys know that there is something called a widowmaker heart attack. And it used to be predominantly men, and it used to be men in over 75. Then it became men over 55. Then it became men kind of in their early 40s and women over 50. And this shift has also happened in about the last 30 years. And what has changed? It is the food that we're eating. It is the way we're processing food. It is our medical system. Do not get me wrong. I love doctors. If I break a bone, I am going to go to the hospital. But 90% of what people go to the hospital for nowadays is lifestyle and diet-induced problems. Okay, I'll be off my soapbox now.
Oh, no. I'll jump up there whenever you like. It's exactly what the slides are saying here too. And so we've talked about how diet impacts our metabolic health, but how diet impacts our biological age as well. And so here it is again. 71.6%.
Okay, and I just have to then now say, Pete, I'm sorry. What is the future of our children? Right? If this is what's happening to us as adults, 71.6% of adults over 20 are overweight. Let's give this another, let's let our 10-year-olds today become 20. And what is that number going to be? And is it going to be, 90% of teenagers are over, it's mind-boggling how fast this shift is happening, and we can control it. We absolutely have the power to not have us be in that statistic. But it's education, 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 but it's also fighting the marketing that happens on television and social media. Kaylin will come to me and show me some new candy. I'm like, where did you even hear about this? No. Let's read the ingredients. We have to educate our kids. Let's read the ingredients. Let's talk about what high fructose corn syrup is going to do to you. Anyway, sorry. You knew you were poking my buttons.
There's going to be a few more buttons poked as well. You can see here on this chart, it's a little wonder who actually crafted and paid for this report. I've highlighted a couple here. So frosted mini wheats, number 3, and we go down Honey Nut Cheerios. Like, it's absurd. There's nothing natural in these products at all. Lucky Charms is on here. Almond M&Ms, something I've never seen before, and especially should never see on a NIH funded food pyramid. So let's just move on. And it's little wonder. This is the whole thing about how did we get to where we are now? We need to remove the blinkers. We need to stop sugarcoating that, a little bit of sugar's okay. A little bit of this is okay. This is how we got to where we are at the moment. Now, I talked before about the one thing, if you take from this call, the one thing that will impact your life the most is thinking about how your blood sugar directly impacts your age. This line here, every time your blood sugar spikes, you age. And I'm going to represent that in a graphic later on. Every time your blood sugar spikes, you age. Yeah. And so we need to control that. We need to prevent that. 1, stop choosing it and stop eating it. And 2, stop the blood sugar from entering into your, the sugar breaking down and entering as a glucose into your blood, so that it doesn't spike your insulin, so that we're not slamming on the brakes like we're driving a car really fast and you slam on the brakes and you take it off, and putting this wear and tear on your body. So over time, every time that your blood sugar elevates, you have these permanent consequences on your body and your health. So there is a direct correlation between your blood sugar and aging. Now let's talk about, you can see on your handout on the top, on the right-hand side, as you age, so does your metabolic function. But the great thing is that we can turn back the clock on your biological age. Remember, we can't on the chronological age. The year you were born was the year you were born. You can't change that at the moment. They may come up with something incredible later, Back to the Future. But at the moment, what we have in our hands is choice. choice over the food that we can eat, how we move our body, how we make sleep a priority at nighttime. All of these directly impact your metabolic function. And the result is you can actually work on turning back the clock on your biological age. We've all seen people who look younger, act younger, have more energy. Yeah, start to think about what they do in their life. What choices are they making in their life? So metabolic health and biological age are inseparable. They're inseparable. So your metabolic health impacts the age of your body. The choices that you make every single day impact your biological age. And here's the statement. Science agrees that poor metabolic health is at the root of aging and disease. And that can be mental diseases. It can be all sorts of diseases within inside the body. And science agrees on this. So let's still talk about diet. We've talked about the diet and the impact on metabolic health, and diet and the impact on biological aging. We'll talk about diet and the potential for disease. And we've seen the upward projection from 1980, when food started to look not like food anymore, like food-like substances. It scares me when I go to the market, the supermarket, and I see the choices that people are making and putting inside their grocery trolleys. It's not even food. So just do a little bit of research and walk around the supermarket and spy on people and kind of look at what they're choosing. So really, we should be filling our refrigerators with everything leafy green, lots of kale and broccoli and cauliflower. All of these leafy greens are so good for us. Brussels sprouts, they're really great for us. Lots of phytonutrients inside them. Make sure they're clean, always a really clean source. Now, I'm just going to fly through these ones here. So we're talking about diet and the direct impact that diet has on disease in our body. Science agrees now that there's a direct correlation between the diet and the food that we choose and Alzheimer's as a metabolic disease. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just going to throw it out there. These slides are going to be available for you. There's also, you can take a photo of each of these slides. There's URLs down the bottom that give you the link to the actual document. So I'll give this to you so that you can actually go in and dive deeper. There's direct correlation now science is finding between your metabolism, the food that you're choosing, and cancers inside your body. The food that we choose impacts your health. This is the picture that I'm painting for you. There's a direct correlation between the food that you choose and mental illnesses, as well as how you sleep, obviously, and how you move your body and the stresses in your life. Now, this is a really alarming statistic, and Victoria, I know that you want to talk to this one a lot, and things have changed as well in the last few years with how they locked us up for 2 years, and obviously that doesn't lead to good things afterwards. But if anybody wants to unmic and talk about this graphic here, there's a lot of statistics on here, and I'm happy to discuss this a little bit more. But suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the US. I'm just trying to get the date on this. I think this was 2020, this report. So
I think what people don't understand is how intricately connected the gut is to the brain. And so when we don't have gut health, we affect our mental health. But another thing that people need to understand is that when we are in high stress, which we all have been for the last 3 years, for the last 3 years, we have all been as if we're being chased by a bear all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And our body was designed to have these cortisol spikes when we're being chased by a bear, not when we're watching the little death ticker on the news, right? And that's creating this historical levels of cortisol, right? And when we have our cortisol level spike, it actually shuts down our digestive system, right? And so we quit getting the nutrients because our body is designed to like, oh, we're being chased by a bear. Let's shut everything down so we can put all of our energy on running from the bear. But what we're doing is we're shutting down our digestive system, which is causing us to not absorb the nutrients that we normally would. And it is also 70% of our immune system is in the gut. So we're literally shutting down our immune system as well. And we're causing this incredible imbalance of mental health, gut health, immune health. We are so whacked right now, the majority. And then this is what is causing these suicide rates, right? Yeah. This like we're not thinking clearly because we literally cannot think clearly, right? And so the foods that we're eating, the gut health, the metabolic health, all of this feeds into our brains. And I will just say, and Pete, I know you feel the same way. I look at the products that we have and the lifestyle that we educate people to live as a moral obligation. Because people need to know what we know. People need to have access to the products that we have access to the recipes, to all the things that we share in our community, because even if we can get people making small changes, right? Just like, me, I'm all about being a reducitarian. I meet people, they're drinking a bottle of wine a night, right? I'm not going to get them to quit drinking overnight, but I can say, hey, how about we reduce that to half? And just these little reductions, these little wins, compounded daily over time, add a few more here and there. We are in the business of saving lives when you look at this chart.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a better way. There's absolutely
a happier way too. A happier way.
Yeah.
Like the way we live is way more joyful.
Now we will, speaking of joyful, flip into joyful very soon, but I just want to paint a little, it's not all doom and gloom. There is choice. But I just want to talk here about the diabetic phase and the trajectory that we're on with, and we can't discount this. So at the moment, there's a total of 37.3 million people who have diabetes in the US, but diagnosed 28.7 million people and undiagnosed 8.5 million. Pre-diabetes, 96 million people. And alarmingly, the next line here, 65 years of age and older, 26, nearly, let's say 27. 27 million people aged 65 years or older, which is nearly 50% of that demographic, have pre-diabetes. And you can't tell me it's not through lifestyle choices. Choosing to sit on the lazy chair, crank it up, watch the TV. This is a lot about choice. So let's just move through. This is a little bit more slides. I'm going to share these slides, like I said, so that you can read into these articles that I've chosen. And there's a lot to read, guys. And these are coming from reputable articles. This is Medical News Today. All of the information is out there. You can find the information if you want to look for it. PubMed, PUBMED is another great place to look. You'll see on all of these slides, I've put the URL where I've found these articles. Dive in there, research, educate yourself, educate your family, educate your community. It's really important, the choices that you make, because it's impacting the number of years that you're going to be living for. There's a direct correlation. So finally, the nail in the coffin, guys, before we turn the corner and find some solutions, we've talked about how diet impacts your metabolic health, your biological age, and the disease potential in your body. How does diet directly impact the quality of your health and life? And really, here it is here. So it's impacting our age, the number of years that we're living. And for the first time in history, the number of years, our health span is declining, but also to the number of years that we're living is actually declining as well. Yeah, I just want that to sink in a little bit. There's more obesity, there's more people with diabetes, there's more people with chronic diseases. Every second person that you talk to seems to have an allergy to food. And for me, Victoria?
I was just going to say, they're actually saying that this generation for the first time is dying younger than the previous generation. We've always kind of lived a little longer, lived a little longer because of, medical breakthroughs and things like that. And now, for the first time in history, this generation is dying younger than the previous.
It's crazy, isn't it? Less healthy with all the technology that we have.
All the technology.
Yeah. So let's turn the corner. We talked about biological age and chronological age, and there's this 13-year gap on average. And remember, lifespan is the number of years that you're living for. So those 13 years, I know myself, I don't want to spend 13 years in a hospital bed or on the lazy chair watching the TV. No, thank you. That's not what I'm signing up for. And you don't have to sign your name against that. All you need to do is make these great lifestyle choices by focusing on, like we said, your nutrition, how you choose to move your body. 30 minutes a day. This is all you need to do. 30 minutes a day. We're not talking rigorous exercise or running a marathon. Just get out there and move your body. You can have a podcast in, you can walk the dog, just move your body 30 minutes a day. It's great as well, twice a week, to stress your body a little bit. And that could be like an interval training. It could be an ice bath is really good too, to stress your body, like immerse your body in ice to stress your body. This is it's a great way to work on your biological aging by increasing that health span through, again, movement, stressing your body, nutrition, lowering stress, focusing on your sleep patterns. I'm just going to jump over this one, and I know that we've put the nail in the coffin. I know that we have set up the scene, and we now understand why we've kind of got to this situation where we are now. But it all comes down to this. It's a really faulty approach that we have. Individually, we need to take back control of our own health instead of going to the doctor and just handing our body over. I had a friend yesterday go to the doctor because they had a rash on their face. And the doctor, of course, prescribed antibiotics. And we know that anything on the skin, a rash is your body removing toxins. And anything on the skin is manifested from the gut. So when you take antibiotics, it's going to screw up your gut. It's going to displace things in your gut, displace a few different systems like your liver and your kidney, which are your filtering organs. And then he's going to have a worse situation because his microbiome inside his gut has been depleted through the antibiotics. So the faulty approach is brought on by poor diet choices, poor lifestyle choices, like how we move our body. And all of this is like the line. Any maths equation has a line. And then you get the result underneath, don't you? So that plus that plus that equals the situation that we're at now. And that situation as a formula in maths underneath the line is metabolic health crisis. It's because if you picture all of this as an iceberg, all we're doing is treating everything above the surface line. That is it. And if we overlay what we've just talked about, the faulty approach is really the opposite way around. As we look underneath the surface of the water, there's all of these root causes that modern medicine isn't actually focused on. Modern medicine is all about just disconnecting the signal so that you can no longer feel it anymore. So we need to not just focus above the water surface. We need to actually look at what's going on underneath. And this is what we do in doTERRA. How big does the iceberg need to get before we actually recognize that it's a massive, massive issue? Like, how big? There's huge risks lurking below the surface. And this is why we got to where we are now. We're only focused on the symptoms all the time. It's a Band-Aid approach. And I promised you that I wouldn't sugarcoat it tonight because if we sugarcoat it, we're not going to get to the root cause. We need to, guys, focus above the waterline and below the waterline. Below the waterline is where we get all the answers. At the moment, modern medicine is just looking at treatments of the symptoms. So my friend went to the doctor. He's got a rash. the doctor gives him a treatment for the rash. Did he go below the surface line of the water and look at everything else? Did he ask about nutrition? No. How are you moving your body? No. Are you taking probiotics, digestive enzymes? None of that. None of lifestyle was taken into account. It was just a treatment. It was a disease prevention, and that's just the focus above the waterline. So this is where we are now, guys. Here, I promised you, we'll talk about solutions. We're at the fork in the road now. You can choose to go to the left and keep your blinkers on, stay ignorant, because that's what Big Pharma wants us to do. Because like Victoria said, there's no profit when you're dead. There's only profit if they can extend your life and have you on a couple of prescriptions. But there is a better way. And the better way is that we start looking below the surface of the water and we start focusing on some solutions. Now, those solutions take a little bit longer and they're targeted for everybody a little bit different, because we need to look at the biology of your body and we need to look at the chemistry of your body. But with some really amazing products, with some really great support and a really fun community, you can get there, and you can actually get there quite quickly. So we're at a crossroads. Do we continue what we're doing? And the crossroad to the left is with the skull. So great symbolization. So do we continue just to look at the symptoms and not address the root cause? Or do we take life literally into our own hands, and do we say, thank you, I want to take on the root needs of my body? And wellness is really met when we start addressing the root needs of what our body requires. And that's what we really want to talk about tonight, is that there is a better way. We can look at what our body needs. When we meet the body's root needs, we ensure there is enough of the right things. And this last line is really important. And we ensure that there is not too much of the wrong things. It's impossible to say that that there's never going to be some wrong things that we put into our body. We're human. We can have a balance. Keep in mind too, that we're an energetic state of 72 hours. So whatever you did over the past 72 hours really adds up to how you're feeling today. So when Elaine said on Monday evening that she felt fantastic, it was a combination of everything that she did for the 72 hours leading up to Monday evening. It's how she moved her body in Pilates classes. She's really active. The food that she chose to eat, the water consumption that she had, all of the great products that she's putting into her body. All of these choices that you make, how you slept, how you deal with stresses in your life, all of that adds up to this metabolic state. It's a 72-hour window, yeah? I can't see the chat, so let me know if there's anything I need to grab in.
Well, one of the things I just put in the chat, Pete, was when I commented that Elaine looked so vibrant, that she said, oh, well, I was just outside. It was a beautiful day and I was outside. And I will tell you guys, sunshine, we cannot, I know we have tabooed sunshine, you know, as causing skin cancer. And there is a truth to that, but no sunshine will break down your body. So we do need to try to get about 20 minutes of sunshine a day. And there is a great app that's free. You know, free is always my favorite price because everybody needs to afford to be healthy. A great app on your phone called D, like the vitamin D Minder. So like reminder, but it's D Minder. And you can put in your zip code and your age and your skin type and all this information it gathers from you and your location. And it will tell you the best 20 minutes for you to be outside for you in your location, getting the UVB rays, not the UVA. So it's a very specific time. It changes, you know, as the earth goes around the sun. But it's incredible, and it's free, how much that will energize your health.
Yeah, absolutely.
free little hacks too. You know, we have so many options. I'm loving this class, by the way, Pete.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's our community, really. Like we want to make sure when we onboard people that it's not just about a product. It's about enrolling into a healthier lifestyle, little bit by little bit, and addressing the root needs that your body requires. So what Victoria's body needs and what Elaine's body needs, there's different targets depending on what you're going through at certain times of your life, certain times of the year. And now the sunshine too, the best thing you can do when you first wake up in the morning is to step outside, brush your teeth outside in the garden. You're going to get 5 minutes of extra sunshine. And what happens is that your cortisone kicks in the morning. That helps you to sleep better at nighttime. It really does. That cortisone, it sounds strange, but that cortisone injection first thing in the morning, and you're right, Victoria, 20 minutes at a minimum during the day of the right sunshine is going to impact the quality of your sleep, which will then, if you sleep well, you can see how it's all linked, then impacts your quality of choices the next day. If you make good choices about what you eat and how you move your body, you'll feel better about yourself. But if you eat crap food and you lay around and do crap, you're going to feel like crap. It's all linked together. So you can see here at the bottom, we've gone through each of these foundations. If we look, I've circled at the bottom here, the way of being, your diet, your lifestyle choices, environment, the genes that you're made up with, we can actually bypass metabolic health if we choose to make these a priority. If we choose that this is the root needs of our quality of health, we can bypass the disease potential, the biological aging, the metabolic health. If we address the root needs of what our body requires through diet, through lifestyle, through movement, it directly impacts our quality of life. Now, we're going to break down what is metabolic health. I promised you that we would go through this at the beginning of the class. Look at this, guys. Metabolic health is really everything. It's measurable, it's visible, and it's detectable. Okay, I'm going to say that again because it's really powerful. Metabolic health is measurable. You can measure all of these things. And a lot of the time, the measurement is a feeling. Now, when you go to the doctor, often they discredit, especially women and women's bodies. It's time that, we take that control back. But it's very often that they'll discredit a feeling, or I feel like this. We need to, and you'll see on the very top of your handout, the very first handout I gave you, the metabolic quiz, there's a section in there, and I'll highlight it in a minute, that if you measure your metabolic health based on feeling and intuition, you're 90% there, because nobody knows your body like you know it. So just cast your eye on all of these points, guys. Appetite, the aging in your cells, your blood sugar, your inflammation in the brain, your cardiolipids, so cardiovascular health, energy, your hair, skin, nails, your immune system, which 70% of your immune system is inside your gut. All of these factors here correlates to metabolic health. So the food that you choose to eat, how it's broken down and absorbs into your blood system, and how it feeds all of these systems in your body, all adds up to metabolic health. Now, when we went and looked at the very first handout, and we talked about less than 7% of US adults have cardiometabolic health, these are the factors here. These are the factors that add up to that. So guys, that is the metabolic health lifestyle quiz that I've given you. Take time to go through this. Be honest with yourself, sit with it. Remember, you're measuring yourself where you are now, not where you want to be. And do you like the diagram I've put here too? The correlation with the iceberg. Let that be the image of our wellness system. And we don't have a health system. We have a stay sick system. They want to keep us sick because then there's profit in this. Now, the very first section at the top, this is what I'm talking about, guys. That very top section in the metabolic health quiz, I've just highlighted this section. How you feel and self-awareness is key to improving your own health, your metabolic health. Yeah, this is key. So in this quiz, go on your gut feel, go on your self-awareness. So you can go to the doctor and the doctor will say, okay, based on these metrics, you are here with these biomarkers. However, go on your self-awareness, and that's really key in improving your metabolic health. Rate yourself on that. Yeah. And this is why this quiz is so important. You're taking back control of your health. Don't get me wrong. It's really important to know what your metrics are, like blood sugar and blood pressure and cholesterol. That's really important. But you also know too, on intuition and self-awareness, how you're feeling. That's super important. So this quiz here is going to go into things like gut health, your exercise, your sleep, stress, mental health. Super important for you to sit and do this quiz. I've done this 3 times and it's eye-opening, even with self-awareness and any kind of like biometric tests that you've done and the metrics. It's eye-opening to see how this changes. It really is, just depending on what you've got going on in your life. And these are the 14 areas that the quiz actually picks up. So it looks at all of these 14 areas. And if you were to Google the top health concerns of 2022, 2023, this is what comes up. Yeah, just do a quick Google search at some point during the day or this week. Top health concerns that people have, this is what comes up. It's all linked to your cardiometabolic health. So guys, on the 4th page of your quiz, these are some of the conclusions that you come to. And we ask you to rate yourself based on the scores that you've put into your quiz. For me, I came up with, which was a little bit surprising, I came up with digestion as an area I needed to focus on. I came up with immune that I needed to focus on. And I came up with sleep. So they were the areas. Sleep hadn't come up before, but that was an area that I needed to target. It's also the reason why I did a lot of research over the last 6 months and I wrote my ebook on sleep. And it's one that I'm so proud of. You can grab it on my website if you want to. Most people come to me in my health coaching for sleep concerns. And the very first thing I do is a cleanse and restore kit from doTERRA, because it really resets your body back to its factory settings. And if we give our body what it needs, like the root needs, our wellness is met. If we're feeding our body healthy nutrition, if we're giving our body ample sleep, lowering stress, and we're moving our body, your body will repair. It just will. Now, if you don't have time to do all this quiz, turn to the 4th page and rate yourself on the top 3 metabolic health priorities that you have, 1, 2, and 3. But if you do have time, go through the whole quiz, do all of it, be really honest with yourself, and you will be surprised with what comes up. And the reason we do this quiz is because it leads us into some different protocols. It leads us into solutions that we can have. And that's the importance of this call. So you've identified what your top 3 metabolic health priorities are, and then you can move into finding those protocols. It's really about how you feel now. Remember I said, do your metabolic quiz on how you feel now. And then how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel is based on the solutions that we have for you, and all natural solutions. Again, that's all of the measurables and all of the links or the different systems in your body that are linked to the food that you're eating, how you're digesting it. Don't overlook the obvious. The obvious is those lifestyle choices. Are we looking only above the surface line of the water and looking for a Band-Aid approach? Because that's what's got us to where we are today. Are you looking below the water surface at all of those different factors that we've talked about? Track how you feel. It's really important. Your energy level, your weight. Don't be afraid of the scale. Yeah. Sleep. It's important to make sleep a priority. Most people are not making sleep a priority. So think about your sleep hygiene at nighttime. I do something called 3-2-1. And 3 hours before bed, I coach my people on stop eating 3 hours before bed. 2 hours before bed, we want to stop work. So no more brain work. spend time with your animals, spend time with your family. Sometimes they're the same thing. And then 1 hour before bed, we want to turn off all devices. And that's to make sure that your cortisone isn't being spiked by watching devices online. And so your heart rate, how do you feel? At nighttime, put some oils in your hand. Put a big squirt of coconut oil in your hand. Put your favorite sleep relaxing oils in your hand and just massage them onto your body, because it's probably the first time in the whole day that you've actually taken note on how your body feels. Massage your feet. Thank your feet for carrying you all day. Massage across your chest. And what happens when you rub those oils into your body, your skin is the largest organ in your body. It will start to absorb all of those oils into your blood system, and it calms you, it soothes you and relaxes you. This is why it's really important to use pure essential oils. And it's why that we choose to use doTERRA essential oils, because there's no adulteration. So guys, just to wrap up with, we talked about nutrition and digestion, and that is linked to poor digestion or lack of nutrition is what's keeping you from reaching your health goals. If we have poor metabolism, we have lack of daily movement, then we really need to be focused on adding 30 minutes a day. Just 30 minutes a day. Set a timer in your phone. You'll be so surprised how it starts to add up. Look at your pedometer. Look at last week and just try to add a little bit more movement this week. It's not about running a marathon. It's just about...
And Pete, I do want to add to that. It doesn't need to be 30 minutes all at once.
No, exactly. You can break it up during the day.
3 10-minute increments. It's, so I don't want you to think you have to go join a gym. You don't have to go buy some Lululemon. You don't have to really. I have a yoga mat on the floor in my office, and between calls, I will just lay down and do, 30 sit-ups and 30 push-ups and get back up and take my next call. And not only is that really healthy for my body, and there have been studies done that actually doing 2 minutes 4 times a day will increase your health by up to 40%. It's like we're buying the lie that you have to, do something significant. But not only is this going to help your physical health, but by stopping intermittently throughout the day and just doing 25 jumping jacks or running in place or something, it literally clears your brain and resets your next section of work or whatever it is you're doing. Brendan Burchard has a great talk on this called the 5 times 50 or something like that. So every 50 minutes, you need to stop and do 10 minutes of just something else, walk around, do some exercise. And then you do that 5 times during the day, you're like golden, and you are significantly more productive. So you're not just physically healthier, mentally healthier, but you're actually more productive. So, we think, we've got to just hit the grindstone and be working for 8 hours straight because I've got this important project. You'll actually get it done faster and better if you stop every 50 minutes and just do some sort of stretching or exercise or something. Anyway.
Oh, such great advice. Because that's often the reason why people are not moving their bodies, because they think, I don't have 30 minutes. I don't have 1 hour to get to the gym. These are often just obstacles or excuses. Just move your body, and those little increments all add up during the day. So great advice. So we can take control back of our metabolic health. We can, and we've shown you those different foundations to focus on. That's them there. This is how we take back control: through nutrition, through digestion, through movement, through resting your body. You do need to rest your body. When you rest your body, you repair, you renew, and reducing toxins in your life. There's lots of studies that say when we leave the house in the morning, all of the chemicals that we put on our body, that we consume at breakfast time, we leave the house with around about, on average, 80 different chemicals inside our body. That's even before we leave the house. Now, what we bring into the house, we're in control of. Once you step outside of the house, we're not so much in control of, but you definitely can control what you bring into the house, and you can definitely control how you make your cells more resilient. Now, guys, we talked about bringing some solutions in. Here's some solutions that doTERRA has for us to optimize our metabolic health. And you can see how they're linked into each of these foundations that we've talked about today. So at the very solid foundation at the bottom, everything in a wellness program is based on a foundation of nutrition and digestion, the food that you consume. However, there's still gaps in what your body requires because our food chain is just the soil is depleted. Our food is genetically modified. It's not organic. So we do need to top up the nutrition with smart supplementation. And in doTERRA, the smart supplementation that we have is lifelong vitality. We have some really solid digestive enzymes, whole food enzymes that help to break down all of these things that your body has trouble breaking down, like fruit fiber and meat and lactose, sugars. So the digestive enzymes breaks all these carbohydrate sugars down, absorbs them into the blood system, and make sure that you're getting all the healthy nutrients, the phytonutrients from the food that you're eating. You don't want to eat a really healthy salad if your body can't digest it. And then also we talk about some really great probiotics. Can we just continue for about 3 more minutes? I know we've gone over time, but I just want to show you a couple of more solutions. I might just need to fly through a couple of slides, and I'm just going to grab the right slide for you. Here we go, guys. There's so many great slides here, and I will share the slide deck. I'll give you a little preview through so you can see. You can see how our whole approach to wellness has been upside down. We've been really looking at what the actual symptom is without actually addressing the cause of it. And the cause all comes from nutrition, focusing on our lifestyle choices. So when we turn that around and we start addressing a foundation of nutrition, our wellness really starts to fall into place. It does take time. It takes time to adjust all of the bad habits that we've been doing. It takes 9 months to make a baby, 9 months to unmake a baby. So it does take time to unmake all of the bad habits that we've had. But we do have some great solutions for you. And I'm just going to dive into, I'm going to make sure I just bring up the right slide for you. Otherwise, we'll be flying through too many slides. Victoria, do you want to add something just while I find this slide here?
Well, one of the things I want people to be putting questions or comments into the chat. We've been covering a lot of information. So if you have any, I didn't quite catch this, or, what about that? Please feel free to make this as interactive as possible. This is such an important conversation that we need to be having. And the more we have the conversation as a community, the better we will be at lovingly sharing this conversation with others, right? I was up in Vail this past week. Kaylin was ice skating and I was videoing her, and a little boy was on the ice and he fell down, and the mom went up to him and, was comforting him. And he said he didn't want to skate anymore. And she said, "That's fine. Let's go to the candy store. You'll feel better." Because there's a little Rocket Fizz or some weird candy store right next to the ice rink. And my heart just broke. I was like, how can this mom, who can afford to be in Vail at the ice rink, not know this, right? People don't know. This is such an important conversation. So I'm sorry, but I just took that whole last 3 minutes. Keep going, Pete.
No, I love it. I love it because that's the real situation. That's the reality at the moment. And we talked about that solution. You remember that slide I had where you can choose, you can make a choice, you can continue to be ignorant and keep the blinkers on and think everything's okay. But the statistics and science gives us the facts. And the facts is that there is a better way. There's an important decision that we have to make with our own health. So in doTERRA, we talk about a solution being this MetaPWR metabolic system. It's a range of 6 different products. And inside here, it's broken into 3 sections. The first section of 4 products tame the fat. And I love that. They tame the fat in your body. Who doesn't want that? Hello, taming the fat. The product in the middle, the metabolic assist, curbs the carbs. It decreases these post-meal glucose spikes. Remember, I mentioned if there's one thing that you take away from this call, if you can find a way to prevent your blood sugar from spiking in your body, then that's going to be one of the most powerful ways to work on your biological aging. Because every time your insulin spikes, you are aging your body. You're putting wear and tear on your body. You really want to stabilize the energy throughout your day. So that product in the middle, the metabolic assist, has a mixture of berberine and mulberry. And these are 2 raw botanicals that help to stabilize blood sugar and prevent the blood sugar from absorbing into your blood and spiking your insulin. It just happens to be exactly the same. This is a natural version of the chemical version, the manufactured version of metformin. And metformin is the medication that doctors deal out for people who have diabetes. So this is doTERRA's solution for decreasing post-meal glucose spikes. So the way I take it is 1 a day at mealtime.
Add in, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best to bite my tongue all the time.
Go for it.
This is so good. I wish this was a 4-hour class at my kitchen table. Metformin has significant side effects.
Mm.
So we need to be aware of that. People need to always go as natural as possible, and getting people off of metformin, you have no idea what a gift this is for them. And yes, that's the assist.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. We can't overlook the importance of this system here. It's so important. And the product on the right-hand side that we're just going to fly through quickly is collagen. Now, we all know about collagen. It's a buzzword. We've all tried collagen. Collagen is the most important building block protein in our body. And it starts to deplete quite early on in age, around 18 or 25 in some people. I can tell you want to dive in.
I just put all of that into the chat, Pete. That at about 20, your collagen starts to significantly drop. Yeah. I just wanted to plug my class. Thursday morning, 10 a.m., same Zoom number. I'm doing a deep dive just on Advantage.
And if you're watching this recording back, you'll find in the same folder where this recording is as well.
It will be that recording. Yeah.
Yeah. And this collagen, Victoria's going to go through in a lot more detail, but at a high level, this collagen has 9 different types of collagen inside, which is, there's nothing else on the market like this product at all, hands down. It's a very clean source of protein, like everything that we do in doTERRA. 4 types of wild caught fish from Italy, and it's cold water fish. And this is important. It's always about the source of the ingredient. Victoria always talks about you can't put oil on a Big Mac and hope to get healthy. You can't do that. So you need to understand the source of where the raw botanical comes from, because we don't do any adulteration in doTERRA. How nature intended the plant to be is how we bottle it and give it to you as the end product. It's really, really important. So collagen is super important for all sorts of things, like removing inflammation in the brain, in the myelin sheath, to stop that squeezing of your nervous system in your brain, which causes brain tension, which causes cognition issues. One of the first benefits that people see with taking this collagen, and it can be as fast as 2 or 3 days after starting it, can be this removal of this brain fog. And a lot of the time people don't realize that you're swimming through this brain fog all day. This clarity comes, energy comes. And it's not an external energy source. This is an internal energy source that you get from taking this product. So I just wanted to highlight those products there. And these slides go through them in more detail, but I will share the slide deck so you can see. I'm just going to stop the share now and just see if there's any questions that anybody has. How are we doing, guys? You still with me?
This has been such an incredible class, Pete. I knew it was going to be. I just wanted to add that when Pete was talking about all of the different areas in our metabolic health, and by taking that quiz, you can find out which one is which one or 3 or 5 that you need to be working specifically on. And then he was saying we can do kind of custom protocols for that. Please know that is a very real thing. So it is more like if you're looking for energy, we're going to say, you know, LLV, the MetaPWR Advantage for sure, always the assist in my mind, always the assist, and perhaps Mito 2 Max, you know, and then you can carry peppermint and wild orange. And so when he says specific protocols, we have protocols for skin, hair, nails, energy, sleep that can really get customized to your specific health challenge or health goals, so that you can start living your most vibrant life now and continue to add healthy building blocks as you show up to calls, as you learn and grow, and add these little tiny baby steps along the way until you are closing that 13-year gap between health span and lifespan, so that your health span is, I mean, Pete and I have made a pinky promise. We're dying running, right? We're just going to be running the race of life, and 97, maybe 107, keel over.
And I bet you Victoria will be one step in front, because I just want to show you one last minute here. We're talking about solutions, and I don't want to finish this call and not have solutions. There is a basic way that you can do this. And this is by starting with the Lifelong Vitality Kit and adding on. You can add on 3 extra products that are deeply discounted. You can add on a collagen. I've got the price here. You can then add on the assist that we're talking about to reduce those insulin spikes. Super important. Remember, the number 1 factor for aging is when your glucose spikes. This product here is a natural solution for you. Digestion. We talked about the importance of digestion. This is a probiotic, a double encapsulated probiotic. There's a reason why doTERRA has been around for so long. The products work. They're very solid. Then, guys, there's a next signature program where you can enroll on a Healthy Habits Kit. If you're watching this recording and you haven't yet started, go back to the person who invited you to this call, and this is a great way to start, the Healthy Habits Kit. Some markets in doTERRA around the world don't have this particular kit, but we can make this for you. Even if you have started your doTERRA journey, you can still actually purchase this Healthy Habits Kit. It's under LRP options, LRP kits, and you can select this as your option. And then you can add on the MetaPWR system. And what I do, guys, is I buy this MetaPWR system every 3 months. And because I don't deplete it every month, the oil in here, this metabolic oil, will last me 3 or 4 months. The beadlets last me about 2 months. I go through the soft gels every month. I take 3 a day of the soft gels. And the assist I go through once a month. I don't use the gum, so I give the gum to somebody else. I'm not a gum chewer. I gift it to Victoria. So when I come and stay, there's a few bags and Elaine. But the collagen I go through every month. So you can see how you can customize this. You can buy them individually on this slide here. You can buy them individually, or you can buy this as a kit. And then the last way is to start is, actually, I won't go into that, but I would just give you these, because we're going to go over time too much, give you these 2 options here. You can start as a signature program. You can actually just start as a basic program by adding them into your existing LRP card. So there, guys, are some protocols to begin. We've run out of time. There is so much to cover. Victoria's doing a deep dive, like she mentioned, into collagen coming up in her call later in this week. And you can also watch the recording back as well. Are there any last questions? I know I've kept you a little bit too long. Pilar.
Hi.
Hi, I'm glad you're here. It's so great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. So I got a lot of knowledge today about more knowledge about collagen and assistant. And you said you drink or you take 3 soft gels.
Yeah.
So can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So the soft gel, if you look at the metabolic blend, there's 4 different formats to the metabolic blend. And I'm just going to bring that up and show it to you on a quick slide here. And you can see that you don't have to use all of the products in the kit. I would recommend definitely, you can see here on the slide, I'd recommend buying the MetaPWR system to begin with, so you can use all the products and see which ones fit into your life. But the products on the slide here all do the same thing, but they're a different format. So you want to see what works into your lifestyle first. For me, I just mentioned that the gum doesn't fit into my lifestyle because I'm not a gum chewer, but I'm addicted to the oil. I have it in my water. This is 500 mils in my language. So 500 mils, and I put in 2 drops of MetaPWR oil inside here. Now, the beadlet, I'm also addicted to in my lifestyle. So it's inside my little man bag that I carry around every day. And a beadlet has 1/4 of a drop of the essential oil inside. And maybe you can see, there it is. Tiny, tiny, tiny there. So you just bite on that, and sublingually, it'll just absorb into the blood vessels underneath your tongue. The soft gels here, I take 3 a day. That's what's recommended. And inside each soft gel, there's 4 drops of essential oil. Now, what that does, it helps to stop my fat cells from maturing like a balloon. So we all have the same number of fat cells. It stops them from blowing up. Some of us have more inflated balloons in our body, and some of us have less inflated balloons in our body. It just depends on your lifestyle choices, and it depends on the food that you're eating. This is a really healthy solution to preventing our fat cells from growing up. And this is a blend of cinnamon oil. It's a blend of grapefruit, peppermint, and cinnamon inside here. Did I miss something? Lemon. Is lemon inside this one as food? So it's cinnamon, grapefruit. Help me out. Anyone?
Lemon and grape.
It's grapefruit,
Ginger.
I don't think we have ginger in this.
Lemon, mint, ginger.
All of the above.
Cinnamon, and what's the 5th one? And grapefruit. 5 of them.
so yeah, lemon, grapefruit, peppermint, ginger, and cinnamon bark.
There we are. I was just testing you all out.
That was funny.
Just to see if you're listening.
I love it.
If you're used to the Slim and Sassy from before, this is a reformulated stealth version. Okay, you can't really compare. So the MetaPWR has been designed by a flavorist. So the flavor of it to begin with is beautiful. And so, Pilar, does that help you?
And Pilar, just to add on to that, it's really what I love about this is that you can customize, right? Like Pete said, 4 products, same product, really, 4 different delivery systems, and you can make it work to your lifestyle. I believe everybody should take 1 advantage and 1 assist a day. If you're older or you have different requirements or you want to close the gap faster in your collagen and mNN depletion, you can take 2 for a time. If you're older, it's a longer time. It's very customizable. But then I take 1 soft gel a day. In my afternoon water, I put 2 drops of the oil in. and then I chew the gum. So and I use 3 of the delivery systems throughout the day. Pete takes 3 soft gels because he doesn't do the other things. My husband has the beadlets in his pocket all the time. So it's very customizable to your lifestyle, but be considering things like your personal age, your personal genetics, your personal lifestyle, all the things that Pete went over earlier, you should put into account when you're customizing the best system for you.
Okay, thank you. And I can take it, I guess, anytime, right? Since you are putting, like, because I put the oil too and just drink it. It's not like
Except for the assist. The assist, you should try your best to take 15, 20 minutes before your meal.
Okay.
And if you're only going to take one, take it 15 or 20 minutes before your largest meal or your most highly carb meal.
Yeah.
Like maybe your dinner is going to be meat and vegetables, but at lunch you're having a big bowl of pasta. Or, you know, I would do it before the pasta meal. The thing that's going to give you the highest glucose spike is what you want to hammer down.
Wow, great questions. I'm hoping that this class has just stirred up some interest to dive a little bit deeper, to analyze, maybe that's a hard word, to look at in reality where you're at this point in your health journey and your wellness journey. It's never too late to start, because you can have significant impacts on your health, which then has significant impacts on your biological age. Sit with that quiz. Remember, I gave you 3 handouts. Make sure you've grabbed them before we close this call. Grab them, pull them into, if you came onto the call a little bit later, scroll up in the chat. There's 3 handouts. One is the metabolic lifestyle quiz. Save that to your desktop. The other one is the handout from this call. Save that as well, because we've covered so much great stuff and there's even more in here. We may do the extended version one day, Victoria and I. There's a lot that we want to cover. And then the other handout was the answers, the solutions, which are your protocols. And these are based on your targeted wellness priorities. So please, 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 please sit with that quiz, do it all, get to the 4th page and really highlight what your priorities are. I don't do anything that I don't ask you to do anything that I haven't done myself. So I've done that quiz 3 times, and it's very interesting to see how it shifts over time. Guys, any final questions before we wrap up this mega call?
I want to make sure that Andrea has enough time to get to the handouts that I just checked. They're still there, Andrea. Scroll to the very top. You'll see them and just download them. Number 1. Number 2, I want to let people know Pete is on a mission to save the world. And he's going to be teaching this class 2 times a week for the next maybe couple of months or something, to give everybody an opportunity in different time zones to be on this class. And especially being on it live is so good because, as you can see, you can ask questions. So it is on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Just like tonight, you're doing that again next Tuesday.
Yep.
And it is the same Zoom number and the same password, Team OYL, T capitalized, OYL capitalized. Please invite friends on that you want to hear this conversation. And then the second time that he does the call is for the Asia market.
That's right, 7 p.m. in Asia. It's a little bit early. It's 5 a.m. Mountain Time. But that'll shift to 6 a.m. soon once you're the second week in March.
Yeah, but I also think that hits the European market nicely.
It does. It does. It's a great time zone for all the other time.
Europe. Yeah. So please know you're welcome to invite people onto this call. And
absolutely. Everybody needs to hear about this. Everybody. You can see from those statistics, that's real. And we need to remove the blinkers. When people say, oh, a little bit of sugar in moderation is great. It's why we're at the situation where we're at now. We do need to give people these healthier solutions. And we do have solutions for people. So guys, get out there, share the information, invite people to this call. More the merrier. Let's have a party each week. It's great to see you all this week.
Thank you so much, Pete. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone, for coming on.
My pleasure. Bye, everybody. Nice to see you all.
Bye.
Thank you so much. You're an amazing communicator, teacher, mentor, etc., etc.
Oh,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
bye, Andrea. I'll see you soon.
Oh yes, of
Thanks a
course.
lot.
Thank you.
Really
Bye.
great.
Everybody, thank you.